White House press secretary this week said that a pardon for Hunter Biden is off the table, but we haven't heard President Biden himself rule it out. Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends and anyone who had any access to him. President Biden has restored the integrity of the Department of Justice, and I think you see that in this case.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So the title of this clip says, Democratic lawmakers said Biden won't pardon Hunter Biden in 2023. Hear his reaction now. And it was absolutely embarrassing. Even the comment section is roasting this guy. So the first comment says, if you ever want to know a dumb moment, this is it. Yeah, I've been caught with my pants down. Goldman is a goof. The stuff he said in the latter part of the video is just completely ridiculous. Can't stand these liberal Democrats. I mean, he's getting clowned by everybody. He said, bunch of BS this guy is spewing out. All right, so let's not waste any more time, guys, and let's get into this clip here. But before we do, please hit the like button down below. It really helps the channel out. And stay to the end. We're going to get into the rest of the comment section.
Congressman, first, your reaction to Biden's pardon of Hunter.
Well, look, the one thing I certainly agree with is that this was an improperly politicized prosecution. Those two charges, as I know from 10 years as a prosecutor in the Department of Justice, are almost never, if ever, charged against a defendant in a standalone indictment. And the reason why they were charged is because Republicans in Congress improperly tried to intervene in an ongoing prosecution to scuttle a plea agreement that Hunter Biden and David Weiss had entered into. The plea agreement was unusual because of Donald Trump's threats of retribution and Hunter Biden's understandable concern that if Donald Trump won, that his Department of Justice would come after Hunter for other crimes that he wasn't charged with but was investigated for. So the president is exactly right that if his name were Hunter Smith and not Hunter Biden, he would not be charged with this, and that is not a proper outcome here. That's not a proper use of our rule of law. I wish the president had not stated after the plea agreement fell through that he would not pardon Hunter Biden, because it is discouraging that he has now gone back on his word on that. But the merits of the pardon and the reasons for it are legitimate, especially as you look at who Donald Trump is nominating, people like Matt Gaetz, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, all of whom have threatened retribution against Hunter Biden and others.
Okay, you went out on a limb backing up Biden when he said that there would not be a pardon. In July of 2023, just after that plea deal fell through, this is what you said. I want to watch.
Do you think a pardon for his son would be a mistake?
Yes, and I don't think there's any chance that President Biden is going to do that, unlike his predecessor, who pardoned all of his friends and anyone who had any access to him. And I think you see that in this case, where he kept on, and Merrick Garland kept on, a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney to investigate the president's son. If there is not an indication of the independence of the Department of Justice beyond that, I don't know what we could look for.
What does that feel like, watching yourself back then, reassuring people that Biden was not going to issue a pardon for his son?
Yeah, and I think that if that plea agreement and that plea deal had gone through, there would be no pardon. That was a satisfactory outcome.
It had already fallen through.
That only was. Sorry?
Well, when you reacted, this was when the deal had fallen through. And I hear what you're saying about the Kash Patel appointment, but, you took him at his word. So what does that feel like, knowing that he's gone back on it?
Well, as I said, I'm disappointed that after the plea fell through and it became clear about why it did, including Republican congressional intervention in this case, which made this case very unique and very different from any other case. I think that we all, perhaps I should have as well, recognized that this is not the normal prosecution. I said many times that if Hunter Biden were not Hunter Biden, he would never be charged with these crimes. And when you start to see what Donald Trump is planning to do with his Department of Justice and with his FBI, and the degree to which Hunter Biden has already been shamelessly attacked as a private citizen by Republicans, I certainly understand why the president felt like this miscarriage of justice should not carry forward and that he should not be at risk of retributive prosecution for political reasons, which is not the proper way to execute our rule of law.
Do you think that President Biden's pardon of his son may actually put some pressure on some Senate Republicans who have concerns about Kash Patel being FBI director, that it may actually pressure them to confirm him?
I don't really see how one thing would have anything to do with the other. I find it pretty ironic and hypocritical that so many Republicans have seemed to find the rule of law to Joe Biden's pardoning of Hunter and are happily ignorant of the rule of law when it comes to Donald Trump and everything that he has done. But Kash Patel is a danger because he's unqualified and because he is out for revenge on behalf of Donald Trump. And that is not who we should have leading what should be a nonpartisan, apolitical FBI that has a 10-year term for a reason, so that it is not in line with the political process. So Kash Patel is a danger separate and apart from anything having to do with Hunter Biden's pardon, but it is yet another example of how Donald Trump is a danger to our rule of law and why Joe Biden felt compelled to pardon Hunter.
I guess there's a question of, I mean, listen, the things you are alleging, a lot of people will agree with you on that. There are even some Republicans who may agree with your ideas there about Donald Trump, the norms that he's broken. And the question then becomes, do you respond to the breaking of norms by either breaking other norms or by breaking your promise? Which is certainly in this case something Biden did. So what do you say to that?
Yeah, and that's why I don't think that, and you haven't heard me say that Joe Biden is justified in pardoning Hunter Biden because Donald Trump pardoned Roger Stone, who had incriminating information about him, and Paul Manafort and Charlie Kushner, and the list goes on. That's not why it's okay, in my view, for Joe Biden to
So then, to your point of
Hunter.
what you said about, say, Kash Patel, or we've seen perhaps what Trump wants from his law enforcement arm, having picked Matt Gaetz. Obviously, that didn't work out for him, but then Pam Bondi, someone who's very loyal to him and whose independence has been questioned. Is it then your belief that the Justice Department, the law enforcement, federal law enforcement, should Americans have faith in federal law enforcement now? Because it seems that this decision has brought that into question.
Wow. That's crazy. No. No, this was brought into question when it was politicized to go after Donald Trump. That's when people started questioning the legitimacy of the federal law enforcement. This is crazy.
I think what it brings it into question are the nominees that Donald Trump has put forward. Matt Gaetz, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard. These are not people who are going to implement the rule of law. They have been picked to weaponize the federal government against Donald Trump's enemies and his adversaries. And that is the risk to the rule of law. And that is why Joe Biden used his authority to protect his son.
Let me extend what you're saying then. And I hear your argument. Then it sounds like you're saying yes, that Americans cannot have faith in federal law enforcement as it is implemented by these picks that Trump is making? I mean, is that a fair representation of your opinion on this?
I think it's yet to be seen. And certainly I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. But based on the statements that people like Matt Gaetz, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Donald Trump himself have made over the last couple of years, they have been very explicit about their desire to weaponize the Department of Justice for their own political purposes. I don't give a single bit of credit to this BS coming from Republicans that Joe Biden and the Biden administration has weaponized the Department of Justice. We had an entire subcommittee for 2 years on this, and they didn't show one example where there was any weaponization. This is projection, and it is a distraction. The reality is that Donald Trump tried to 10 times or more weaponize the Department of Justice in his first administration, and he is now putting loyalists in the critical positions at the Department of Justice who will absolutely weaponize it even more. So the risk we have is under a Trump presidency that of the Department of Justice being weaponized, not at all under a Biden administration. And we, including the media, cannot give any credit to that bogus argument.
Wow.
Congressman Dan Goldman, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Wow. He said it's projection while he's sitting there projecting. Is absolutely crazy to me. These people are insane. But hey, once again, this is the pardoning was done to help cover Hunter Biden from prosecution from Donald Trump, because he said it. Dan said it himself. He said there are crimes that haven't been prosecuted yet, right? So he's worried that Kash Patel and Donald Trump are going to do more digging into probably the laptop, or other crimes that might have committed allegedly. And they're scared that those charges would have been brought up. So now Joe Biden has gave Hunter Biden a blanket immunity to go all the way back to 2014, when allegedly that was when the dealings with Burisma in the Ukraine was going on. Hey, insane what we are witnessing. But let's read some of the comments. So the first comment says here, CNN always wrong. They're just roasting CNN here. CNN keep lying. It says it's not left versus right. It's simply elitists versus commoners. Hunter pled guilty. This clown still blaming Trump. Yeah, crazy. That's all, they're good at. Somebody says, so for the last 10 years, Hunter has been a criminal. Got it. Yeah. That's exactly what Dan was saying. That's what I understood. He said, no, this is a president covering up his crimes. He says, don't you have to be convicted first to get pardoned? This is blanket immunity. Boom. You also don't get apparently pardons. You have to wait until the sentencing is usually how it's been done in the past. Somebody says they lie and lie and lie and lie. Goldman has no dignity or ethical standards. Somebody says this is a terrible interview. The lawmaker and the interviewer are both struggling to find traction for blaming the president-elect for things he hasn't even started doing. Exactly. Are Democrats inherently this wicked? Yes, they are. Inherently. Yes, they are. Absolutely. They're wicked. They're horrible people. Somebody says, she called him out so hard, he started sweating right away. Somebody says, time to unfollow CNN. Someone says, how embarrassing for Goldman. Why do this interview? Hilarious. I guess CNN is trying to be a little bit more centrist, right? That's what they're aiming here. Oh, well, see, look, we called out a Democrat. We called him out on his hypocrisy and, his lies. You see, look, we're not so partisan. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hit the like button down below. And of course, if you are brand new, consider hitting the subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.